Welcome back to another Sculpt Session Sunday. I'm your host, Sash, and I'm here with the Mandizzle with the Shizzle.
Hey guys.
And we're coming to you hot with an episode that hits home and is probably going to hit home to most of you because if you started your fitness journey because you hated yourself and hated your physique and hated things about you, this episode is probably going to relate a lot if you are still in your fitness journey and have then pivoted from your initial reason to starting. And this episode, the title, if you clicked on this video, you already know, is that you cannot hate yourself into your dream physique. And the reason why I want to be talking about this and why we're going to be having a conversation about this today is because I feel like a lot of women start their fitness journey because they hated what they saw, they hated what how they felt about themselves, they hated maybe their situation, their environment, like something. And as much as that could be used as fuel in order to make a change, that cannot be your driving force because what happens then is you create these stories in your head of I'll be happy when I lose 10 pounds. I'll love myself more when I'm skinny. I'll be happy when I just grow my glutes. Because when you get there, you don't actually see that. Like you will never actually be happy with the results if the reason why you started this was fueled by so much self-hate. And I just feel like this is something that hits so hard because when I first started my fitness journey, that was completely fueled by just like hating myself, hating my body, hating everything about how I looked and how I felt. I then restarted that same fitness journey probably 4 times. Like if I went was to go back and like count, it was probably 4 times that I started and stopped because I would get to a point where I would burn myself out so bad of under eating, overtraining, trying all of these tactics that you see on social media of certain cardios and eating a certain kind of diet and like doing certain things that I would burn out within maybe a month and then cut cold turkey and then wait until I hated myself so much again to like start again or like something super like wait until I sucked so bad to actually make things right. And it wasn't until about almost like 5 years or so ago that I restarted my fitness journey again. And here it was yes, because there was the aspect of hate, but I very quickly realized that that didn't work out for me before, and I started making pivots in how I approach the journey, how I approach myself, and going beyond just going to the gym and training, but then like actually working on myself too. And like not on some like woo-woo stuff, but like you got to do the inner work too. So, Mans, I want to just flat out ask you a question. Did you start lifting and like your fitness journey because you loved yourself and were doing it out of self-respect, or because you didn't?
It's a really nuanced answer, honestly. And kind of, I guess where I want to start is branching off where you said doing the inner work, because now I've done enough inner work to really understand the beginnings of my fitness journey and the start, stop, like where the mental mindset came from. And it was like, as a child, I know I've talked about this before, I was like a bigger child. So all I ever heard was like, if I heard a compliment from parents or like an adult or people I looked up to or people that are like, that teach children how to be people, it would be, you're so smart. It was never because I was bigger, I never was encouraged to do athletics or like,
Mm,
oh, you're so fast or like, oh, you can jump so high. Nothing like that. So all I ever learned growing up was like, oh, don't do anything physical because that's not who you are. You're not sporty, you're not athletic. Like the if you want to manage your weight, you can only do it through food basically. Like this wasn't directly verbalized to me, but as a kid that's what I learned and picked up.
yeah.
So everything from there on out was really fueled by hate. It was like, oh, my stomach's too big, my arms are too big, like I don't want to look like this. I see this girl over here gets these compliments, or she looks like that but she does sports and like I can't do sports because I'm fat, and I hate that. So I did a lot of, obviously at this point, a lot of inner work, and there was a lot of starting and stopping with diets more than actually like, I'm going to get into fitness. Like I did briefly, one of my startups was like, I'm going to run a mile. That was awful. I had no training. I didn't work up to it. I like was dying. So that one didn't last. And then I went in another binge cycle. And I always usually talk about when I got divorced being the pivoting moment because that was truly the time in my life when I was 26 when I finally was like, wait a second, I don't love anything in life right now.
Yeah.
I am just miserable. And I asked myself the question, like, what do I want? And I was like, and it didn't start with me. I was still nagging on my body, but I wanted a hot boyfriend. And I was like, well, if I want a hot boyfriend, I have to have a hot bod and let's grow some glutes. And that was the difference. So even though it wasn't a perfect mindset flip of like, I love myself and want better, it was a shift in that direction. So it was like a baby step versus I just hate myself, period.
Yeah, yeah. And no, I love that you said that because a lot of the times it's not gonna be a shift where you go from hating everything around you, hating yourself, hating your how you look, how you feel, and then waking up one morning and being like, you know what, today I will choose to love myself and respect myself. Like
If
it,
only.
if only you can just wake up on the right side of the bed and have that mindset and go through life like that. But if that was the case, everyone would be doing it, and that's not the case. And it does start with a shift like that. And then using that shift as like that first turning point. And then from there, it turns you somewhere else. Like that is the first needle mover for you. And I, like in my experience, I also, had the off, on, off, on, off, on until I was like, no, I have to be on. And it just happened to be that when I was like reaching the point where I typically would fall off, because it was only for like those short periods of time, right? Like hate is a short-term fuel. Like you have it for a little bit and then it's like, all right, like now what? Like
Yeah.
what now? And just as I was reaching that point, it's like God himself was like, nope, you're not doing this shit again. I'm going to turn everything around for you. And I went through what felt like the worst breakup of my life. I moved states, so I knew no one. I had no job. Like, I was in school. I had to figure it out. I had to get a job immediately. Like, I was just like, had to figure it out. And I remember thinking to myself, like, the only thing right now that can be consistent in my life and that I can have control over, because frankly, I had control over so little, was finishing my education, which I was doing online because of COVID. So it was like, all right, show up to my classes, submit my assignments, do my work. But like for me was continuing my fitness journey because there was nothing else that I could have control over, could like felt good about, and I knew that I like needed to do things to feel better. So like it was literally when I was just slowing down with my journey yet again, there was that huge pivotal shift where it was like, all right, like now I'm gonna knock you on your ass, and if you don't get up, like I truly don't know what I would have done with my life if I didn't like get up and like keep going to the gym and like stay that course. But I want to wind back to where we were just talking about like the on and the off and the on and the off. And like that really is like that short-term fuel that you have with the hating yourself. It's like tr using training as a punishment source. It's trying to run a mile, never doing it before, not because like that's something that you're excited about, but maybe because there was like some guilt about eating that like pie of pizza or something.
It
Like
was punishment.
it was
Punishment.
punishment. It was punishment. And when you're looking at training as punishment rather than like an empowering thing, like you grow resentment to it. You start to hate it. You hate yourself even more. Like we're just adding to a plate of negatives and making it so much harder to then look at any of those things as positives, like over doing cardio because you feel gross, cutting food aggressively because you overate in one of your binge cycles. Been there, done that. You've been there, you've done that. And like hate could get you moving. It could get you moving, but it burns. it burns hot and it burns fast, and eventually it will burn you out. So if you don't use that as something to, okay, yeah, it got you moving, and now how can you continue moving? Not with that as the fire, but like it like pushed you ahead of the race. And now, like, are you gonna keep running on your own, or are you just gonna stop wherever it pushed you to? There's there are the different energies when it's punishment versus when it's respect, but I don't want to say it gets you to the same place, but like they both get you to the gym. Let's put it that way. Whether
Hmm.
you're punishing yourself or yourself having self-respect. So like, can you share any personal moments when it was punishment versus when it was self-respect and like how different it felt and like how differently you approached that?
Yeah, so I had a few gym memberships. First one that I can actually remember, I think I mentioned it on one of our podcasts before. My biological dad was paying for Lifetime, and I just only walked on the treadmill there. Never touched anything else. And that was like, as a punishment, it's like, oh, I was a college student, didn't have a lot of money, was kind of living off Pop Tarts. And then one day I actually, like, was my second year in nursing school. I actually looked at the nutrition information, saw that the Pop Tart was 400 calories, and immediately went to Lifetime to walk on the treadmill. And like, we know now, those calorie like counters aren't accurate. And I was like, no, I'm gonna walk until it says I burned like 300-400 calories. Like, yeah, like woohoo,
Okay.
crazy. Hello. Not healthy. And
Yeah.
um, like later on, I had a membership when I was married uh with my first husband. And but anytime I'd go there, it was also like a punishment. Like, I don't know, in his mind, he'd be like, let's work out together and this is gonna maybe give us a bigger, better bond. And he just at that point in time wasn't the greatest person, neither was I. So his encouragement wasn't, it didn't encourage me to do it out of
Yeah.
respect.
If anything, maybe it made you feel like you weren't doing something or didn't look a type of way or whatever. Like some,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the time that it stuck was when I was like, as I got divorced, and then I was like, well, next time I date, I want a hot boyfriend. If I want a hot boyfriend, and this isn't always the case, ladies, listening to this, like people have different types, all body, like you can feel great in whatever body you have. You don't have to be shredded like bodybuilders, like we're talking about. But in my brain, the kind of boyfriend I wanted was a shredded hot bodybuilder boyfriend. And I was like, well, I gotta be a shredded hot babe. I'm gonna go get a butt. And then it turned into I want, instead of I hate how I look, it was like, well, I might not like how I look, but how can I make myself feel more comfortable? And that was, let's just do body weight squats. Let's do squats with tiny 5-pound dumbbells. And then it just was out of like pure like stubborn spite, but eventually like I just started feeling good, and then
Yeah.
it turned into that respect thing. If I want a hot boyfriend, I gotta be hot, but I gotta be hot in like I feel hot.
Yeah.
I love myself. This is hot. Like I'm doing, which is so subjective, but like that was my shift.
Which I love because that like immediately shows like the punishment, like you said, the punishment was like I look disgusting, I have to fix myself, I feel disgusting, I'm this, I ate so bad, so now I have to suffer with this time on cardio. I'm this, I'm not like just so like nasty, like so mean to yourself. And then that respect mindset is I want to take care of myself. I
The
deserve to feel
standard.
strong. My standards are higher for myself. I respect myself enough to show up to the gym and do the things. I'm building something. I want to build glutes. I'm building myself glutes. I'm doing this. It's not because of like you're trying to punish yourself for
Yeah.
eating what you ate, but it's because it feels good. And that's actually, I love that like Pop-Tart story that you told because right before we got on this call, you and I were talking about how last night Age and I ordered donuts. And we got some donuts and they were delicious. They were so good. We still have some downstairs. Might have some today too. Like, but the reason why I'm telling you this is because I didn't eat those donuts last night and tonight wake up and today in the morning wake up and go do fasted cardio and cut my calories for my breakfast and eat a smaller breakfast. No, I didn't do that. I'm doing
Would you have
everything.
done that in the past?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I would have been at the gym when it opens, get on the Stairmaster, put a freaking waist trainer on, take a hyper burn, and probably starve myself all day and do like an hour of cardio to burn it off. And like wear layers so I'm even more hot.
I love that you've evolved past that.
Oh my God, me
I
too.
love
But like
that.
that is so real and accurate as to what I would do to punish myself with food. And like it was in such a messed up way that when I started like learning about nutrition a little bit, I would eat sushi and be like, "Oh my God, like I ate sushi and like I didn't eat like I had more rice than usual or whatever." And like I have to go burn this. And it was, oh my God, my mindset was so bad. And like I'm getting poke tonight and I'm like, I can't wait. Like I'm so excited. And two sushi rolls and poke and I'm like, I can't wait. And this took time. Okay, this took a lot of time. This took years. This took beating myself up, hating myself, and turning it into that self-love. And it wasn't only by like going to the gym and doing all of that because I know that throughout your journey, like wherever you were during that time, there came a point when you started adding reading self-help books, listening to self-help podcasts, um, looking at life through a different perspective. Like you took off the lenses that you were wearing and you put on different ones to start seeing things in a different way, to understand these things about you, about yourself, because otherwise you would have continued backtracking yourself and backfiring on yourself and you didn't. You kept moving forward. So like there's a huge distinction that comes with like making those changes and it's not necessarily changes of like training harder and this and that because if I asked you what did your inner dialogue sound like in your early bodybuilding days and when you were getting started, it is pretty much what you just said.
Yeah, it was must build glutes, must find hot guy. So it wasn't really like my focus was so external at that point. Like the objective was hot boyfriend. Like I'm gonna rebound from this divorce and be like, it's me, this is my bad bitch era. So like even though on paper it was like hot boyfriend, it was still me being like, no, I want to be a bad bitch.
Yeah.
Like I want to have a higher standard, not just for the partner, but like if my partner's going to be a higher standard, I need to match that. I
Yeah.
can't just be the person bringing us down. And that's where that mindset shift really came in for me. I went from being like, how can I stay the same and attract maybe like the hottest guy to no, I want like a man, but I also like want to be a better person because I don't want to be miserable anymore.
Yeah, that was it for me. Because when I moved down here and I continued going to the gym, and that was the one thing that I did have control over, I remember telling myself, like, I will never look the way that I've ever looked ever again. I will never feel how shitty I felt. I will never let someone walk all over me. I will, like, I just wanted to erase that person and just become someone that people would literally not recognize, like, ever. And I, at that point, had already re-dyed my hair from the bleach blonde that I was back to my natural color. I ripped off the fake lashes that I used to wear. I like I moved to a different state. I cut off people. I blocked everyone that I knew from back home. Like I completely just like was like I need to start a new like literally start a new life. And that for me was like change my body, change how I look, change how I feel about myself, become stronger physically. Because in my head, it was like the stronger that I am physically, the stronger I'll become mentally. And like there is a sense of that. I mean, we've all seen the super strong, whatever, that are like airheads. Like there's that bunch too, but like to an extent, like to become physically strong and to train hard and to eat right and like do all of those things, like does require mental strength as well. And I like remember telling myself like I was oh my God, my self-confidence, everything was like so tanked. And I just remember feeling like I never want to feel like this again. And granted, we've talked on episodes about body dysmorphia and like confidence and like all of these things, how like there are the ebbs and flows, but to just never get again to the point where I was. So like there was that like spite like of like, oh, you want to fuck with me? Like, like that kind of energy, but it it really was just wanting to be someone completely different physically, mentally, and like outgrow just everything that I had known prior to being here. I see this sometimes on the internet, like, specifically talking about prep season and off season. And I feel like there's an aspect of like, there's not an aspect, there's a group of bodybuilders who have not worked through things mentally and like understand things mentally and still have that self-hate and only really love themselves when they're lean and have like a certain look and get certain outside validation and praise. And like even as a competitive bodybuilder, even as someone who is successful in the sport, like if it's rooted in self-hate and if your whole drive is still rooted in that self-hate towards yourself, it becomes obsessive for the wrong reasons. It becomes just so detrimental to your life because of the things that you will do to get to where you want to go, not in a positive light, not in a healthy way. But when it's rooted in that self-respect, it's empowering. It's being able to trust yourself to go the long route, to do the things. And like that distinction is really huge.
Yeah, it is really huge. Is it okay if I address something that you said a little bit ago?
Yeah, please.
Because I think it's just really, really important to kind of highlight this for people. You said that, like, it was rooted in spite initially. We were like, I'm going to show him what he missed. But I think pointing out that the evolution, like, with women and maybe men too, I don't know how their brains think, but I think a lot of us really start out like, I'm gonna show him, or like we're doing it for an outside reason. But I think it's really beautiful that like very clearly your reason like evolved into, oh no, 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 this is for me. And something you said was like, at like pretty much like, am I gonna change? And what I just wanted to like highlight was nothing changes if nothing changes. And that is the hardest part of your fitness journey, is if you're sitting there hating yourself, you're not going to change unless you
Yeah.
decide it's time to stop being an asshole.
Seriously.
Like,
Oh my God, you said it better than I could have. Yeah.
and I just wanted to like kind of reiterate that, because as you were saying that, I'm like, Sasha, it's so cool. Because even in like the short time that I've known you, I've seen like such an evolution where like you would never do something to alter yourself physically for another person now. Like you're so solid in you that like it is for you, it is from a place of love.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool. I didn't know you back then, but to like hear that and like see like kind of reconcile who you are now, it's just really cool. And
And
I know that's gonna
and
be,
same at you. Like when you talk about your story and like you now, it's like, wow, you did that.
I'm
Had a
just
lot,
trying to say, girl,
had
I'm
a
just trying to say.
But thank you. No, I appreciate that. And that is a very powerful message that I feel like anyone listening to this, if there's anything that you take away, it's that nothing changes if nothing changes. And that really does apply to your fitness journey, first and foremost, because like that's kind of like what the podcast is about right now is, you can't hate yourself into your dream physique, but it also applies to just things in life. Like if you are not happy with where you're at, with the career that you're going down, with the things that you're doing in life, with the people that you're surrounding yourself with the choices that you make over the weekends when you go out with your friends when you really don't want to, with the relationship that you're in because you're dating a narcissist or like whatever the case may be, it's like it won't change if it doesn't change. And the only person that is capable of making that change is you. And I know that it is so much easier said than done, and it comes with so much. difficult things, but hard times make strong people, and strong people are able to jump the hurdles of those hard times because life is not going to get any easier. Life does not get any easier. And like, yes, we faced our own challenges back then when it was rooted in self-hate and when this and that, and like here we are now. And now we have some hard times when our period is 3 days away and we're like, I hate my fucking body. I'm having not I hate my body. Oh my God, here I go with the hate. But like I'm having like body dysmorphia and like, oh, my stomach, but like again, that's not what's driving me to go to the gym and have a shoulder workout today.
No.
That's not what drove me to get on my walking pad and walk for 15 minutes after breakfast because that's what I do every single day. So like I didn't do that because of the donuts or because I feel a little bit more inflamed because my period's coming in 3 days. Like it's not rooted and my drive for my daily life is not because I hate myself. It's because I respect myself and because I love myself. And you don't need to love your body every day. You won't love your body every day. I wish you would, but you won't. That's the truth. But you do need to respect it, and you do need to respect yourself enough to follow through with your plan, to follow through with your protocol, to follow through with the things that you set for yourself, because the physique that you want and the life that you want to live is not built from cruelty and from being a piece of shit to yourself. It's built from consistency. Consistency comes from care, it comes from self-discipline, it comes from self-respect, and it comes from making changes because you're tired of being an asshole to yourself, because that's really what it is.
I mean, if you guys need some science, because
Yes,
you
please give us some.
because you said a couple times now that it going to the gym not just makes you like physically stronger, but also mentally stronger. And I think I was listening to, oh, I'm gonna get it wrong.
Is
I
it
don't even
the
know.
cortex, the mid-singular cortex that you're about to talk about?
I was gonna talk about the amygdala.
Oh, oh.
But I'm trying to remember. I mean, they're very close, but is basically they you can take brain scans of people. I think it was that guy that climbed that ridiculous building recently.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, having a conversation about brain scans and like the fear center and basically anyway, I don't want to get on a tangent. To bring it in, there is scientific evidence that the more you push yourself out of your comfort zone, and this is why we're saying nothing changes if nothing changes, you build a resilience, not just in your brain, but in your body as well. And the things that you would have thought are hard become a little bit easier. The fear, that fear center in your brain on those scans, it becomes smaller. The more you expose yourself to things that you think are hard, instead of just sitting there and being like, I hate my body. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to the gym. I'm only going to the gym because whatever. Go to the gym and change your mindset about it and be like, I might not love it right now, but I'm taking a step. And even that small thought, like that's just going to keep feeding that area of the brain. The more you go, the easier it gets, the stronger your brain gets, the better your glutes look.
Yes.
Am I
Yeah.
talking about myself? Maybe.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And like I was literally talking to a client about this the other day because, we were talking about having like difficult periods in life. And I'm gonna wrap up right after this, but you saying that, I literally was telling her about, I just searched it up to make sure I got the proper wording. It's the AMCC, the anterior mid-singular cortex. And I found out about this by listening to a Huberman podcast that he did with David Goggins. And if there's anything you should know about me, it is that when I started my first bodybuilding prep, I was set on like mentally becoming the female version of David Goggins. And sure, it might have been too much for some people and this and that. It was what I needed. And it taught me so much. And what you're talking about, those brain scans, the anterior mid-singular cortex is only strengthened and only grows when you take Google definition. We should take on challenging activities that are not a part of our regular routine, whether it's physical exercise, learning a new instrument, learning a new language, engaging in a challenging task, doing something, because that is the only thing that strengthens that. Nothing else. And when you stop doing that, it becomes weaker. So, because Goggins was talking about how like every time that he does something hard, like you said, it gets easier to do those hard things, and then you can take on the next challenge and you can take on the next. And he was just talking about like his mindset around that. And Huberman said something along the lines of, "You are literally describing the anterior mid-singular cortex." And then Goggins said something like, "I didn't even know what the fuck that was a thing." Because he's like,
Yeah.
he, you know what I'm saying, but like he was literally describing that based off of his life events and like his what he's gone through, and there is the science behind it. So we can go on and on and on about this, but this just all brings us to the main ongoing point here that you cannot hate yourself into your dream physique. You can discipline yourself into it. You can respect yourself into it. You can build yourself into it. And that is going to feel very different in every way, energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, how long you're actually going to stick through with it. Because when we tried hating ourselves into our dream physique, it was a really quick burnout, done, out, and it also didn't get us that far. And like anyone who is struggling with this, I just want you to know that it is a process. It is something that takes time. It's something that takes effort, like actual effort to learn enough about yourself and also to be able to face yourself and recognize that like, okay, I'm doing this for maybe not the right reasons right now, and like how can I pivot to make sure that I take the best approach. So, Mans, last thing that I want to ask you, what would you tell yourself? What would you tell yourself? I was gonna say, what would you tell your past self? No. What would you tell someone that is in the shoes that you were in when you were making these pivots in your life from doing it out of punishment to respect, and like just what would you tell someone that is hating themselves into trying to build that physique right now?
Well, first of all, I'd be like, come here, child. You bring it in close. You need a hug. Because I did. I
Mama
needed a
Mandy's
hug.
coming in.
I was like, you got to give me a hug. I'm a hugger. Um, with consent, of course. Give me a hug. Bring it in here. And what I would tell them is you might not know it right now because you may not have learned it. You may not have heard it from anyone else, but you are very worthy of love. You are very worthy to look however you want to look, not what someone else told you that you should look like. And there's no timeline on that, but you have to do it for you. You are going to have the longest relationship of your life with yourself. So you may as well stop hating yourself. And you may flip the script and just give yourself everything that you ever fucking wanted out of life, and it's going to be okay. And then I'd give them a nice little gentle motherly kiss on their head and, like, now go do it.
I think you just healed like my inner child. Like I'm about to cry. I think you just healed my inner child. No, that was really beautiful. I have no words. I'm done. All right, we're done, guys. That's it.
I
No,
journal a lot, so I've had time to think about this.
yeah, no, that was amazing. And guys, I hope anyone who's listening to this, you truly take these things that we're saying and give them a couple minutes of your time to just think about and reflect on. And we're sending you so much love. I don't even have anything else to say after that. That was just awesome. But thank you guys for tuning in to another Sculpt Session Sunday. To hear more awesome podcasts, hop on over to Mandy's that she drops every Monday. It's unfiltered and functional. Those come out every Monday. We come out every Sunday. We're going to be doing so many more of these. And, I love that we're stepping into a little bit more of this mindset world because it really does tie in so much. And like, this is what we do in our coaching spaces as well. So I'm going to go ahead and link our socials down below. Go ahead and follow us. If you have any questions, we love talking to you. So you can always start up a convo in the DMs. Give this podcast 5-star rating if you're listening on Spotify. Give it a thumbs up if you're listening on YouTube. Drop a comment below if anything really resonated with you or if there's anything that you would like for us to talk about. And we will be back next Sunday with another Sculpt Session Sunday. Go love yourself. Bye.